Okay, we're going to try the first shots of the season, I should say, or year. I haven't shot in a few months, probably since back in January, but here it goes. First shots of the year. Let's see. Still pretty close. Yeah, that would have killed. Okay, let's try another one. Let's go for the left one. Close to it. Okay, let's see where we've hit right here. That's pretty close, as you can see right there. Right there. So that's not bad. Put this back up here. Hang it up. Whew. I had to come in. It was just too hot out there. Plus that next door neighbor was mowing, so I don't know how that picked up on the mic, but I thought I'd come back in here and try to shoot this video. I want to talk a little bit in this video about something that I think is really, really important. Now, that was the first time this year, my bad, I know, first time this year I've actually even picked up my bow and shot it. But here's July. Bow season opens here September the 15th. Even though I don't hunt a lot in September, I don't usually start hunting a lot till, last of October. Right now's the time that you got to get out here and practice, but not just shooting your bow. Now, as you saw, them shots, I shot about 10 times out there, and just the shots that I recorded, and the first shots even, would have killed a deer. I was hitting the circle about like that, so that would have put a double lung on a deer. So my sights are still pretty much where they was last year. So you say, well, if your sights ain't moved and you're shooting that good, the first very shot of the year, why do I need to practice? Well, here's why. Because that kind of practicing I was doing out there is not the kind of practicing you want to do for bow hunting. Now, we're not talking about target shooting and 3D championship. We're talking about an actual bow hunting situation, which I think is what most of everybody that's watching this video mostly does with their bow. Nothing wrong with tournament shooting if that's what you want to do. But under real hunting circumstance, that out there is not the kind of practice you will do. All I was doing was just getting my muscles limbered up and just kind of getting the feel of my bow back and just, practicing. Okay, and I was shooting field tips, so I was just trying to get everything work loose. And I'll do that for a couple of weeks. But here in about 2 weeks, about the 1st of August, all the way till I'm getting ready to hunt, I'm going to be bow hunting practicing. That means that I'm going to be out there and I'm going to practice just like I'm in a real hunting situation. And when you see me practicing in the yard, people think I'm probably crazy if they drive by and see it, because I'm kneeling and I'm shooting like this, and I'm up on top of the house shooting down and and I'm holding and then I'll practice. Okay, so I'm practicing like I'm bow hunting, and that's very important, because we as sportsmen, every one of you watching this video, let me just say, if you don't learn nothing else in this video, remember this: it is your responsibility and my responsibility as a sportsman, as a hunter, not to be taking shots and wounding deer and whether it's bow, rifle, shotgun, muzzleloader. You want to be able, when you pull a trigger or you release that arrow on a wild animal, God's creation, you want to be able to put a quick, clean, ethical kill that's going to put that animal down in 10 seconds or less. And I promise you, if you take a sharp broadhead that's on an arrow, the end of an arrow, and you put it through the double lungs of the heart region of any animal on the face of this earth, you're going to quickly take that animal out in just a few seconds. And that's what we all want. That's what every one of us, when we pull a trigger or release an arrow, that's what we pray happens. But sometimes that just don't happen, and more deers are lost, or any animal are lost, because people make bad shots because of little things that they did. Probably could have avoided it, but there's just things that they did that made them shoot too far off the mark. So you can change all that, and if you're having problems recovering the deer you shoot and it makes you feel sick inside, you need to start working on that right now, so by the time that you're in the tree stand, you're going to have all that worked out. Now I'm going to explain some of the reasons why people make bad shots on deer. Well, one, they don't practice like they're bow hunting, and what I mean by that is this: One of the biggest reasons people prematurely release an arrow and hit a deer or any animal in a bad place is because they've drawn their bow back, they can't hold that bow, and their arms are shaking, and they release an arrow as soon as that deer steps in what they think is an okay situation, because the arm's getting tired and they feel like if they let down, it's going to be movement. Listen, you got to practice all that right now. Here in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be practicing drawing my bow and holding it for at least a full second, what am I saying? 60 seconds or more. I'm going to be practicing holding for at least 60 seconds, a full minute, and even longer, even 2 minutes. And by the time deer season gets here, I want to be able to hold it for at least 120 seconds without shaking, without doing this number, without, because you never know when that deer is walking and you draw back, and you think he's going to stop, or maybe when you get anchored down, he turns, or whatever the case may be, and you have to hold that bow. So you want to practice all that before season gets here, and you're going to practice letting down easy, practice drawing back. If you can't hold your bow for at least a full minute without shaking, you're shooting too much bow. You need to pull your weight down to at least 5-10 pounds. Get it to where you can pull that bow and rock solid, hold that bow until you're ready to make the shot. If you can't do that, you're shooting too much bow, and most people make bad shots because they're shooting way too much bow. You don't need a 70-pound bow to kill a deer or most animals on the face of the earth. I shoot 70 pounds, but that's just what I'm comfortable with. But a lot of guys are shooting 70 pounds, they need to be shooting 60 pounds. A lot of guys shooting 60 pounds need to be shooting 55 or 50 pounds. So there's nothing wrong with shooting a low poundage bow as long as you put that arrow exactly where you want it to go. And if that means shooting a lower weight, that's what you need to do. So practice holding that bow, because it's going to happen to you sometime or another. You're going to pull back, and you're going to have to hold that bow. Practice that in July and August, so you're ready come September, October, November for that shot. Okay. If you shoot a fixed blade broadhead, shoot your broadheads. Now, I shoot field points out there, but here in a couple weeks, all the way till September, I will be shooting three-bladed Muzzy broadheads into my targets for 2 solid months. Well, why do I do that? Why do you mess your targets up? I have Muzzy broadheads that I just use strictly for practice, and then I can change the blades out when it gets close to, when I'm ready to hunt, razor sharp blades. But I do that because it changes. If you're shooting a fixed blade broadhead and it's not flying exactly like you want it, maybe the arrows are not, spined up right, or maybe your arrow rest needs a little bit of adjusting, or whatever the case, you need to find that out before you get out in the woods. Don't screw a field tip on and go out there and be hitting perfect, spots like this, and then, run out to Walmart or run out to your sporting goods store, just pick up the first, broadhead you see, twist it on, line it up with the feathers, and go out and hunt, because you're going to mess up. It's going to happen. And that's why a lot of times you're off 3 or 4 inches, and instead of a lung shot, it's a liver shot. Or instead of a liver shot, if you was to hit that, it's a gut shot. I mean, it's terrible when that happens. But all of that can be avoided if you just take precaution and do these little simple things. And I totally believe in shooting broadheads all the time. Nobody wants to wear a coat right now. Get out early or late. Put a coat on that you're going to hunt in. If it's a thick coat and thick gloves, if you're up in cold weather, because you're going to be hunting cold weather, November, whatever, get you some thick clothes on, get out there and shoot. I'm not saying shoot 50 arrows a day. I don't do that. But just get out there and shoot 4 or 5 arrows in that big heavy stuff and see where everything's going to be hitting at, because big clothes and heavy clothes, big thick gloves, it'll change. Things can change. So you need to practice that. And even though it's July and August, you say, ain't no way I'm going to get out there in that weather. I would rather be a little uncomfortable right now and have everything right. That way, come November, when I'm up there in them big thick clothes, I'm not going to have to worry about, the bowstring hitting my sleeve, or my glove touching the release too prematurely, or whatever the case, because all that stuff happens when people least expect it. All that stuff you can take care of right now. So all of these things you need to just take in your mind, practice with your broadheads, and hold your bow, take different shots, practice like you're going to be hunting, and I promise you all that stuff's going to make a big difference come deer season. Hey, make sure to subscribe to this in the lower right-hand corner there. Thank you for everyone that's already subscribed this year, but channel, just click that box. We always want more subscribers, so please just take a moment and click on that little box down there and subscribe, and come over to my Facebook page in the link in the description. Come over to Facebook and join me there and like and follow my page. And then also we got a brand new website getting ready to be launched here in a couple of weeks, hopefully. Brand new website coming up, and we got some hats and shirts hopefully that's hopefully going to come maybe this fall. And so we got some pretty good ideas that we're going to be doing on our website that we're not going to be doing anywhere else. So just check back, and we're going to be giving you all that information. All right. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. There's going to be lots more. Get out there and practice, because practice makes perfect. Practice shooting your bow, but practice hunting situations and practice the right way, and you will be more successful this coming deer season.